That's it. That's the end of the podcast. I'm tired.
I know.
Anyway. What's up?
The Dr. Pepper ghost is back.
The Dr. Pepper ghost is back.
That's our big news for the week.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, you should join us on patreon.com/JessandHids and get our after pie sessions.
Yeah, we talk more about the Dr. Pepper ghost and give you the whole story behind that. And I mean, it's really not much of a story. It's just the soda machine at the cafe we work at is haunted.
It's not much of a story. It's just we work at a haunted cafe.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
We have a Dr. Pepper ghost. Yeah. Good times.
Good times.
Another perk we offer for our Patreon subscribers is D&D games that we DM. Right now, we only have the one campaign running and aren't really going to add anybody to it at this point. We are like almost at the end game.
Yeah.
However, in the future, we are
later this year probably.
Later this year, we will open up our special D&D tier, we're thinking, on Patreon. So if you are interested in joining Patreon specifically for the D&D, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, it's we play a homebrew campaign that Jess and I kind of brainstorm and come up with together, and we are very much rule of cool over rules as written.
Absolutely.
So I think I'm having a lot of fun, and imposter syndrome kicks in, and I think my players aren't, but then I get messages and emotional responses while we're playing, and they're having fun. So it's something we definitely want to keep doing in the future. It's good storytelling. It's fun. Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
I'm excited for this twist that they've thrown at me. That's pulled me totally off course of the story arc that we were working on, but it's great. It fits in perfectly with the rest of the campaign and gets them. If you're listening, you're already past this, but because this comes out on the 30th. If you're listening and you survived what's happening, congratulations.
Well done. Yeah.
If you didn't, I'm very sorry. And I promise I didn't try to kill any of you intentionally, but my bad guys definitely did try to kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for that. Yeah. I just was like, hey, so if you're listening, you got hints. And I was like, oh, wait, this is coming out on the 30th.
The 30th,
this is
and
we've probably moved beyond this craziness by now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what spoilers we could drop that wouldn't be spoilers at this point.
This is your big giant hint at the end game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys were paying attention.
Hopefully you paid attention to what was going on, the location you ended up in, the entities you faced.
Yeah.
Or ran from. I don't know what your decision's going to be. Run. You should really run.
Run.
You should you should help
the cantina.
Help the cantina. I could dump all the spoilers here because nobody's going to hear that. It's going to be too late when this comes out. But also, this is not actually a D&D podcast yet.
No.
I think that will probably be a topic we go into at some point.
Oh, yeah. We just randomly were like the other day, why haven't we added the history of D&D to our deck?
Oh, I'm doing that right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was my phone. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm going to mute that.
But anyway, we are both really big fans of D&D. It's what got us into writing.
Anyway.
Yep.
What's your subject?
I can't tell you. We have to roll for it.
Okay.
We did this last episode too.
All right, let's roll. Get your D20. Let's do this. I should get the D20 that always rolls really low.
It's on the 19.
It's on the 12.
Okay. I go again first. Okay.
Good, because mine's actually probably going to be really short, so let's talk a lot about your subject.
Okay.
Okay.
All the pressure's on you. You realize that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have what I'm talking about just already solidified in my notes. You're the one that has to
Okay, I'm going to interject a lot.
Yeah. Sprinkle it with banter.
Okay. All right, let's go. I want to know.
Lovely little rainbow sprinkles of banter.
Rainbow sprinkles are dumb.
Okay, so you're going to laugh.
I already am.
My topic isn't just about one woman.
Oh my gosh. How do you get all the women?
It's
This is
about
crazy.
It's about 261 women.
Oh, is this the Night Witches?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, cool.
So
That's fantastic.
the 261 women that served in the all-female 588th Night Bomber Regiment in the Soviet Air Forces during World War II, also known as the Night Witches.
This is fantastic. This has been on our
I put it on the list a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one
Because
of the
I thought it
first
was really
topics but when we were first starting to talk about actually putting this podcast together. We were like,
Yeah, it
let's
was
put
one
some
of the first.
topics.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm excited. Tell me more.
All right. So a little bit of history first. In June of 1941, Hitler launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union known as Operation Barbarossa. And this actually went against a pact that Hitler already had with Joseph Stalin.
Is anyone surprised?
Yeah, no,
Okay,
nobody's
cool.
surprised at all.
Okay. Because it's history that happened.
But maybe the
Forever
Soviet Union was surprised.
Well, I mean, obviously. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Throughout the Second World War, the Soviet Union mobilized millions of soldiers to fight against Nazi Germany and its allies, and the Red Army faced some of the war's most brutal and devastating battles. And since the beginning of the war, a colonel in the Air Force, Marina Roskova, a female Soviet pilot, had been getting letters from women who wanted to aid in the war effort in any way that they could. She had already established several world records in long-distance nonstop flights and was referred to as the Russian Amelia Earhart for her achievements, this colonel in the Air Force.
Oh, man. Okay. My education system has failed me again because I've never heard of this woman,
Yeah.
and she had these world records.
So,
in
fun
flight,
fact, Russia was, I think, the very first country to give women equal rights. And this was before World War II.
That's
Possibly, I think it was before World War I. I want to say it was around 1911.
Yeah, that's pre-World War One.
Yeah.
World War One.
World War I.
World War One. That's
And
okay.
that enabled
a thing I
women to
didn't know.
serve in the military.
That's
so.
a thing I did not know.
Yeah.
2 things today that I have learned already in the first 10 minutes of this podcast.
Yeah. So the idea of female pilots was not unheard of. In World War I, there was actually a princess who wanted to be a pilot and help in the war efforts. And she was able to do that. And that sort of inspired other women to do the same. So it's a known thing, still rare given the times.
Yeah.
But not unheard of for there to be female higher officers in the armies.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't there there's a movie out right now about something.
There's a movie out about something.
No, women in I think it's in World War II. The 6
There was, yeah, and it's the name. It's
just a number. It's like the 668
It's the African American women.
the 6888.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to Oh, they delivered mail. 855 women joined the war to fix the 3-year backlog of undelivered mail.
Wow.
Faced with discrimination and a country devastated by war. Oh, I can't. I will never watch this movie because there's war and that, like, I don't know, seriously triggers me and gives me anxiety, but I might
would
read
watch
about it.
Yeah.
Or you can watch it and tell me about it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Back to these
Okay.
night witches.
So-
Tell me more.
Colonel Marina Raskova lobbied to find ways for women to take a more active role in the war. And she was super successful in her efforts. That led to women being eligible for the draft and even convincing the military to establish all-female units. So Stalin was quick to approve the initiative because he had a general interest in the women's tremendous international propaganda value.
Oh,
And that was in quotes.
understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. So during this time, Around 800,000 women enlisted in the Red Army during World War II. Most of them took on the responsibility of slowing down German advancements rather than fighting against them. So they went more on the offensive than defensive, I guess.
Defensive. It's
right,
slowing
defense
down. Yeah.
as opposed to offense. I don't know.
I was like, no, you're right. No, wait.
Women were usually the ones assigned to dig tank ditch traps, lay booby traps, and make obstacles with the improvised materials. Guerrilla groups working to aid Soviet resistance pockets behind enemy lines were also comprised of women who sewed, equipped fighters, cared for the injured, cooked, and smuggled messages. Men, on the other hand, took on almost all of the offensive during this war.
I mean, I can see, like, especially in that time period, women are not really in the war effort. They're at home, taking care of the home, taking care of the children. And you wouldn't even suspect that, the person, say, delivering your mail is also passing along secret messages, right, or, kind of doing a recon of your building to see where they could lay a trap or something at some point. That's rather brilliant, actually.
And it seems like, I mean, just based on my limited knowledge, it seems like all of the other countries involved in this world war at this point, their women were aiding in the efforts, but also not fighting, and not really, nobody suspected them of, this is stupid, but nobody suspected them of being instrumental or influential.
Yeah, they're
able
mostly
to
like
truly make a difference.
Nurses and that sort of thing, or
even though, like, we know that is not true at all.
Not true at all.
But like at the time, people they did not consider women a threat or capable of helping much. Again, not true, as we have learned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Tell me about these non-threatening night witches.
Support roles. Women were usually designated to the support roles.
Right.
But one of the units that Raskova formed, she formed several, but one of them, everyone from the pilots to the commanders to the mechanics were women. They struck fear into the hearts of the invading German forces. Yes. The Germans called them Nachthexen.
Okay.
And so I know I can't do that like thing. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that was probably very offensive.
But it is a back of the throat. I can't make
that sound with my throat. Nachthexen, or the night witches. This regiment consisted of young women ranging in age from 17 to 26. When they were sent to train, the future pilots were greeted by Raskova herself. They were issued size 42 boots, which I should have looked up the U.S. equivalent of that, because I don't know. I imagine that's like maybe the smallest man's boot. I don't know. They were outfitted with ill-fitting...
Size 9.
Huh?
Size 9.
Oh, too big for me.
Too big.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Their military uniforms were also ill-fitted because they were made for men. Mm-hmm. Their hair was cut short. And as one of the pilots would recall in a later interview, she said, "We didn't recognize ourselves in the mirror. We saw boys there." So,
yeah, I mean, you've got oversized uniforms, short chopped hair, and oversized boots. Like, boots. You would just see basically like a young boy standing there. That's crazy.
Let's talk about their planes and their equipment. The regiment flew in steel and canvas Polikarpov U-2 biplanes. So Polikarpov that's the name of the man who designed these planes. That's his last name. So they're U-2 biplanes. It was actually a 1928 design intended for use as training aircraft and for crop dusting. So not really intended to be in use in actual wartime battle. The plane could only carry about 770 pounds of bombs, which is, I want to say about 6 bombs.
Okay.
That's 350 kilograms. I guess between 6 to 8, because then my next line says 8 or more missions per night were often necessary. Oh, no, I see what there's... Nope. Okay. I misread my notes.
Don't worry, I've never done that. You should feel ashamed.
They would load up with their bombs, and then they would go do these raids, and then they would go back and load up again and go do the raids, often, 8 or more times per night.
I just did an image search on these planes, and it is like kind of the classic.
It looks,
the
if you do an
classic
image
plane, like-
search, they look like metal, but that is canvas stretched over steel or wooden frames.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I looked it up too. Like, I read the description first saying it's steel and canvas. And
Yeah.
I was like, canvas, what do these things look like? Because I was thinking just like, material.
Yeah,
But I guess like if you look it up, it does look like metal, but that's just because they painted it.
that is insane. Because
Yeah.
this is like the classic, U-2 bomber plane that you're used to seeing, like kind of in movies about World War One or two.
Uh-huh.
And I did not know
It
that
looks
this is
metal, but yeah, it is canvas.
Oh,
It's a canvas
man,
plane.
That's terrifying.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Although the aircraft was obsolete and slow, the pilots actually took advantage of that because of its exceptional maneuverability.
Well, that's very, very lightweight.
Yeah, they're lightweight. Because they're smaller, they can, turn on a dime. And
That's insane.
the benefit, huh?
I said, that's insane. I'm just like, it's blowing my mind that we're going to just go up into a war zone in a canvas plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm sorry. Continue.
They also had a slower stall speed than the standard German fighters. So like Germans who would actually take to the skies to try to chase them down had a hard time targeting them because they were so slow, which is like my brain is still like having a hard time with that, but like it makes sense.
So they
have a slower
the German
stall
bombers are
speed.
moving faster.
Yeah.
So they're like almost overshooting every time.
Yeah. And like I think what these little U-2 biplanes had a slower stall speed, which means that in order for the Germans to actually go the same speed, it would be impossible for their fighter planes because they would just drop out of the sky.
Their engines would cut.
They need to maintain a certain speed in order to stay in the air.
Wow, that's crazy.
And because of that slow speed, it made it possible for them to take off and land just about anywhere because they didn't have to, have a long runway to build up speed.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want one of these little planes.
I know.
Fly a little plane.
But their benefits were great, but they lacked shelter from rain. They were open cockpit.
Yeah.
So no shelter from rain or snow or extreme cold. They didn't have bomb sights because they weren't made for use in war. The pilots had to use chalk mark on one wing to line up the targets. So they would just like look over the wing and be like, "Oh, yep, it's lined up. Drop the bomb."
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, okay.
They were two-seaters. So they would have a pilot in one seat and a navigator in the other. They would have to toss their flares out by hand from their cockpits, and they were forced in freezing weather to unscrew the safety pins with bare fingers, which tended, because it was freezing, to stick to the metal components of the ship.
Oh.
And the bombs they carried were supposed to be released by a jury-rigged wire. But whenever the contraption failed to work, the navigator had to climb out on the wing and release the bomb by hand.
Oh my
And
gosh.
this just happened often because these planes were just tricked out by these women in order to do what they wanted them to do. They weren't designed to do any of this. So the women had to be super creative.
And you just the thought of crawling out, like you see it in movies where they're like, I'm going to just crawl out on the wing and I'll save you or whatever. But
you see that in movies on planes with metal wings.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the wings are canvas. I can't, my brain is not computing and holding that information.
I know. So like the frame would be metal. In some sources it says wood, so I'm thinking there was maybe a mixture of both. But
the thought of wood in a plane, like non-Wright Brothers plane, also, like you're just like, what?
Yeah. It's crazy.
That is nuts.
This regiment was officially started in 1942, but the government did not issue parachutes to the women until 1944. And this was partially because of just lack of faith in this regiment by the government.
I'm just like I'm staring at you wide-eyed,
I
and I
know.
realize no one can see that I am just like in utter
Yeah.
shock.
But another reason for that was because these airplanes couldn't carry that much weight. So the women often just didn't wear parachutes because they didn't want any extra weight in the plane.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We're going to crawl out on the canvas wing to release the big giant bomb
Yeah. I mean,
with no
hopefully they
safety
had
wire.
ropes.
I mean, did they though?
I don't know.
If they're worried about the weight of a parachute, did they have some extra ropes to
I don't-
dangle from if they slipped on
Yeah.
the icy canvas
No
wing?
idea. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Since a single plane might undertake 10 or more missions each night, the all-female ground crews were also kept busy. As soon as a plane would land, they would be crawling over it and under it, refueling them and reloading them, often by flashlight, sometimes forced to work in total darkness if German forces were nearby.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
Again, because these planes could land anywhere,
Yeah.
they would, sometimes be forced to land super duper close to the German forces, and these ground crews would have to run and just do everything real quick, super quietly, and in the dark, so they wouldn't be spotted.
That's insane.
Yeah. The way that these women would conduct these missions is super ingenious. They had crazy stealth. The pilots would fly their planes in groups of 3, so 3 planes,
Okay.
which is 6 pilots, or
Six
well,
women.
yeah, 6
Okay.
women. As the women approached their targets, 2 planes would veer off in different directions, and that would draw the searchlights and the flat guns. The 3rd plane would continue to the target, and the navigator would identify when the time was right for the drop. They would tap the pilot on the shoulder, and the pilot would kill the engines. And so their plane would be completely silent as it drifted toward the target. They would drop the bomb, and only the wind noise on the plane would be the only thing to reveal their presence. And the German soldiers likened this to the sound of broomsticks flying through the
Oh
air,
my gosh.
hence the name Night Witches.
That's so crazy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't gone to an air show, but I've seen them. And that's like one of the tricks they'll do is like kill the engine and fly in,
Yeah.
kind of silent
Yeah.
as a trick. And these women are doing this nightly,
Yeah.
multiple times a night, just like, all right, kill the engine and coast.
Yeah.
And just,
And so they would
Oh
repeat that until all 3 of the planes had dropped their loads.
that just, I can't even comprehend coming up with that plan.
Yeah. It's genius.
It's genius. It's terrifying.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So a big part of this was the psychological warfare that it inflicted on
I mean,
the Germans.
I'm psychologically damaged right now just
Right.
reading this.
They would, in a single night, like I said, they would do upwards of 10 missions per night per plane.
Oh,
And
man. So if they have 8, that's 80 bombs per plane, 3 planes, that's 240.
yeah, so it would just be an all-night
Oh,
barrage.
man.
They would shuttle back and forth over the front lines on bombing missions as little as 3 minutes apart. They would keep the
Oh.
Germans on edge all night long.
Yeah. Put these girls on a NASCAR pit crew
Right.
in the dark and be like,
In
all
the
right, we can do this with our eyes closed. Just like,
Yeah.
and you're
Done.
off.
Go.
Like, that's crazy.
There was a German lieutenant, Walter Schwabedison.
Okay. I'm going to go with that
Yep.
because I'm not going to even attempt to pretend I understand German. So.
I don't know. He recalled that although the little aircraft did only minor damage, the near continuous low-level bombing inflicted acute psychological strain on his troops. And right up until the end of the war, he said the Germans searched unsuccessfully for an effective weapon against the nocturnal pests.
The nocturnal pest. I mean, yeah. I mean, like you have on the ground anti-aircraft guns.
Uh-huh. But if you can't target the planes,
they didn't have like, we have like now there's infrared and night vision
Yeah.
and computer targeting and that sort of thing. And that wasn't even a thing. This was all visual.
Yeah.
And
Visual and
audible, like what you could hear. So you would track, and then so you're like, oh, I hear something in the distance, and then it's gone.
Uh-huh.
And it's quiet.
Yeah. And
then suddenly
they also
bombs.
flew
Like,
super low to the ground. So even if you were like keeping the lights low and wherever you were camping out, or you had your camp set up or base set up, they would see you.
Yeah,
because they're closer to you.
Yeah. That's nuts.
German soldiers could automatically earn an Iron Cross medal if they shot down a single Night Witch plane out of the sky. They were making such a big impact that it was just an automatic medal for being able to down one of these Night Witches.
Okay, so that compares to like the Bronze or Silver Star in the American military. It's a single act of bravery in the face of the enemy, above and beyond the call of duty.
Oh, okay. So the Iron Cross medal is similar to
like a Bronze or Silver Star.
Silver. That's cool. I did not think to look that up.
I was just like, I've heard of the Iron Cross, but I was like, oh, I have no idea. There's so many different meanings for medals and everything. I just was like, what is that? So, okay.
The Night Witches were trained to fly in complete darkness, relying on the light of the moon and the stars.
Oh, my gosh.
And because of that, rumors began to spread among the Germans that the Soviets were giving the women pills and treatments that gave them the night vision of a cat.
Oh, my gosh.
So not only do we have the witch aesthetic, but we also have cats thrown in there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just throw the whole thing.
Yep.
Okay.
One of the most famous of the Night Witches, Nadezhda Popova, said, "This was nonsense, of course. What we did have were clever, educated, very talented girls."
Yes.
Which I'm like, absolutely.
Everyone needs.
Yeah.
Clever, talented, educated girls.
Yes.
Yes. We need more of them.
Uh-huh. Let's talk about their achievements, what they managed to achieve during the whole course of the war. They were actually, this regiment was in operation from 42 to the end of the war in 45.
Okay.
So 3 years. The 588th Night Bomber Regiment had a total of 261 women altogether, but at its largest, it had 42-person crews.
Oh,
so
okay. So
80 serving all at once. So in total,
they
261 women served in this regiment.
Okay, but
at its largest, there were 80.
Okay, I got you. I was like, wait, math. Okay, no, that makes sense. I got you.
It was the most highly decorated female unit in the Soviet Air Force, with many pilots having flown over 800 missions by the end of the war.
Oh,
800 in 3 years. Probably less than 3 years, because I'm not sure what month they officially started doing their raids, although that was in the Wikipedia article. Just didn't write it down. Seems like I do that every single episode. 32 of the regiment's members died during the war, of the 261 total that served. They collectively accumulated 28,676 flight hours, dropped over 3,000 tons of bombs,
ooh,
and over 26,000 incendiary shells, damaging or completely destroying 17 river crossings, 9 railways, 2 railway stations, 26 warehouses, 12 fuel depots, 176 armored cars, 86 firing points, and 11 searchlights.
Oh, dang.
In addition to the bombings, the unit performed 155 supply drops of food and ammunition to Soviet forces. So
that just seems like so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Just
they did
accomplishments.
A lot. The Night Witches were also instrumental in numerous battles, including the Battle of the Caucasus, which they performed 2,920 flight missions.
Whew.
The Kuban Taman Novorossiysk. Sure.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yep. During that battle, they did 4,623 missions. The Crimean Offensive, 6,140 missions. The Belarus Offensive, they did 400 missions. In the Poland Offensive, they did 5,421 missions.
So I'm listening to these numbers. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm listening to the numbers. I'm thinking
I have one more.
Say your last one and then I'll say my piece.
And the German Offensive, 2,000 missions. Okay, now go.
Okay, sorry. I just was like, okay, that's a lot of missions for an army. And then I'm like, wait, this is not even 260 women. Like, it's 261 women over the course of
the
3 years.
Yep.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, that's easily 10,000 plus missions.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the numbers you put, but all of them were in the 4 digits mostly.
Yeah. I have the total of
Did they
flight
sleep?
hours. I don't have the total of missions.
Did they sleep at all? Like, when did they
Well,
sleep?
no, because they would do all these raids at night. They
So
slept during the day.
I guess they had to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. 23 personnel from the Night Witches. They were awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. 2 were awarded Hero of the Russian Federation. And 1 was awarded Hero of Kazakhstan.
Hey, I did a part on Kazakhstan a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have done a deeper dive into some of the individual women,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not.
Oh. Do you have any stories about any of them, or did you just
I
kind of do?
don't.
Oh, okay. All right.
I am actually nearing the end of my notes.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it
Phew.
was a very short. This might actually be a very short episode.
Oh, yeah, it might be. It's okay.
But that's okay. Maybe we will do some mini episodes for our patrons on some of these women.
I think we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Because I would like to learn a little more about them. That's just insane.
Yeah.
I guess it's insane.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to mention.
Okay.
And it's funny because we were listening to some heavy metal music earlier this morning.
Yeah, like lo-fi metal, which is like
Lo-fi metal.
a perfect way to wake up.
Yeah. Like, why are you listening to heavy metal on a Saturday morning? Well,
It's lo-fi.
it was what we needed.
It's what we needed. Yeah, it just hit the right spot.
It was good.
Okay.
But there is a Swedish heavy metal band called Sabaton.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Okay. So in their album Heroes, I want to say it came out in 2021 or 2022. I read it, but I forgot to copy paste that bit into my notes. They have a song called Night Witches, and I listened to it and I really love it. It details and praises the women from the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. In their song, they used words like flight perfected and flawless vision, never missed their mark. It's just a cool song, and maybe I'll pause the recording right now so I can play it for you.
Okay, yeah. I'd like to hear
Because
it.
I would love to be able to play it on the podcast, but I did not.
We don't have the rights to
We don't have the rights to it, and I don't even have the brain space to figure out how to get the rights to songs, and also we would have to pay for it, and
definitely
don't
we
have the
can
money.
include the link in our post, our show notes post.
Yeah.
So
okay, hold please while I play this song. Okay, we're back, and I was way off on the year that it was released. That song came out in 2014.
Oh, 2014.
Yeah.
That is pretty rocking. I'm going to go put them on my Spotify playlist.
It was good, right?
Yeah.
So my favorite line from it says, "The wind will whisper when the night witches come." It was great.
That's awesome. I really like it. It's pretty cool. Sabaton, Sabaton.
Yes. And it's from their album Heroes.
Very cool. I have a little kitten
Oh,
in my lap now. I didn't even know she was in the room with us, but she was very
Tinkle
quiet,
Toes.
and my little tinkle toes. She's our little polydactyl kitten.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got for the Night Witches.
Oh man, that
They were
is
so
actually really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
I do want to take a second to cite my sources because I forgot to do that.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
often forget to do that in all
I
of
do.
my
I do
episodes.
put them in our posts on Patreon. So
Yeah.
we do cite our sources, but I do often forget to actually
Yeah.
say where they're from. Where did you find your information?
There's, of course, a Wikipedia article called Night Witches. There is an article I found entitled Russian Night Witches in The Collector. It's thecollector.com.
Okay.
And another article in Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair, I will say, like, I never expect them to, but they occasionally have some really good articles, and I'll be like,
Yeah, and
didn't
this
expect
article
this,
was
like,
really
yeah.
like it was really good and educational and well written. Like I was not expecting it from Vanity Fair either. I
Yeah.
don't read a lot of Vanity Fair.
To be fair, I don't either.
So-
I'm like, it's a fashion magazine, right? But I
Right,
think it
yeah.
actually has some pretty good journalistic articles in it.
Yeah. There's also an article that was mostly focused on the designer of this type of plane,
Polikarpov?
Polikarpov. I didn't even write down his first name, but an article entitled Red Mule on historynet.com. Yeah, it was mostly talking about him, but it had a fairly big section about the night witches and these planes in particular. And that's where I got a lot of the information about the planes themselves. I will also link the YouTube video of that song, the Night Witches song, in the show notes. Okay, so I have a bit more information about these planes. It was an open cockpit 2-seater powered by a reliable 5-cylinder Shvetsov 100 HP air-cooled radial engine.
Air-cooled because it's literally just behind the propeller. Like,
yeah.
Most of these planes would have the engine in a compartment, and this one, I'm looking at the picture, it's just right there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just right in front of
Yep.
It's very air-cooled.
Yeah. It had a maximum speed of 93 miles per hour, but when it was carrying a full bomb load, it could barely reach 60 miles per hour.
I could outrun it.
Yeah. No, you can't outrun 60 miles.
I didn't finish it. I could outrun it in my Jeep. That's what I was trying to. I was like, you could out. That's really slow.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that they took what should be a negative,
Yeah.
and turned it into. I mean, they took so many things that should be. They're women in a male dominated field, and they're typically seen as behind the scenes support, secretaries, nurses, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And here they are. They're out there. They're mechanics taking care of their own planes. They're rigging their own.
There is definitely a parallel that could be drawn between the women themselves and the planes that they tricked out, because the planes were also meant to be a support capacity sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But they made them crazy useful.
Crazy, like beyond expectations. It's very much like avoid the stereotype, avoid the typical. Tink is now attacking the goblins.
Yep. Oh, she just knocked one off the table.
Okay, sorry. Well, carry on. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was a little bit more about the planes.
Yeah, it just. I'm so sorry. I just see this big paw reaching up onto the desk over here and like feeling around for something to pull off. Oh my gosh. We don't normally have cats in here when we record for this reason, but
I didn't even know she was in
I didn't
here.
either.
I knew
Anna
Stray
gets
was in here
as well.
Oh my gosh.
Or Shen is. Shen's up there.
That's Shen.
Yeah,
Oh
they snuck in. But I mean, coming back to this, like, yeah, it's this little crop duster. I just heard Han Solo. This ain't dusting crops, boy, or whatever. Sorry, Star Wars line. But it's this little crop duster of a plane that's meant to fly low and slow. To drop fertilizer or stuff on your crops. And they've adjusted it, and now they've turned it into something that terrifies the German troops.
There's some pictures of the night witches.
I saw. Okay, that's the one picture. Like, if I looked at that picture anywhere, I would be like, "Oh, that's the Russian." That's like the most common picture I think that I've seen.
Yeah, I'll put that in the.
But yeah, like, and they're in dresses or skirts, and just like, here they go marching past their planes, and they're just, I don't know, they're just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
The princess, since it was a short topic anyway, but the princess that I mentioned that fought in World War I in 1914, her name was Princess Evgenie, Evgenie.
It's probably like Evney or something.
Evney.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. Yeah. The last name, Shakovskaya. Hey, I did it. She had asked Tsar Nicholas II if she could become a military pilot, and she ended up making reconnaissance flights. Alexander Karen, the Sky's government, a government official, later gave permission for women to join the Russian army, and a number of them followed in her example.
Good for her.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I encourage anybody who's listening to read up more on these ladies, and there will definitely be some mini episodes about a few of the individuals who served in 588.
Yeah, it's hard when we're putting the notes together, because you either don't find enough and you kind of have to really dig and expand, or you find so much that you go, this is
like,
too much,
this
is too much.
Pare it down. And then
like when I did Pythagoras, I found so much, and then I had to peel it back to just a few things, and then I still felt like I didn't do the subject justice. And I was like, wait, can we go back and do another episode? It's like, but it is like you look at your notes and you're like, okay, this is enough. And then just while we're talking with each other, we might, and this is how this podcast started. I mean, we're like, I need to know this for something that we're writing, and we'll talk about it and go, I wonder if, or could that mean? And then you kind of go down into another direction. How did that start? And then you learn about some other really cool piece of information that is totally unrelated to what you started with. Yeah, it's just kind of, you just keep going deeper and deeper into
rabbit holes.
Yeah, rabbit holes. Just keep diving in and finding more stuff, and that's kind of why we're here now. We thought we have we learn all this cool stuff, and we just tell each other, and we're like, let's tell somebody else.
We don't go to a whole lot of social events to share this with.
Yeah, I mean, we
don't really need
we're gonna
party
be
conversation.
Yeah, we don't. Here's our icebreaker. Hi, my name's Hiddles. Can I tell you about the night witches? And they're like, I'm sorry, what? This is just what I've been fixated on this week. I'm sorry. Yeah. I have no other information to give you.
That's the night witches.
Come on, everybody knows about them, right?
Yeah, all female Air Force regiment.
It's like almost 100 years ago. Calm down.
I will not calm down. They were awesome women.
I need to tell you about these, because next week I'm going to forget everything and fixate on something else. I'm doing this just because, again, I have my subject, which is a total shift in direction of the night witches and World War II, which actually fits perfectly for the ADHD mindset.
Switch brain topics.
Switch shift gears. Let's talk about sports.
Oh my gosh. Did you get Kabaddi?
I got a Kabaddi.
Kabaddi.
That's
not how they said it in the QI episode.
I know, but that is how this one person whose name I did not write down. It is a YouTube video. He went to a Kabaddi training center in London and kind of did some training with them.
Cool.
And Kabaddi is how it is pronounced.
Okay, let's inform the dear listeners.
Dear listeners.
what we're talking about.
Kabaddi is a sport.
Sounds like you're saying comedy with a stuffy nose.
I do have a stuffy nose.
Kabaddi.
Kabaddi. It is a contact team sport played between two teams of 7 players. And it originated in India. And this is literally playground tag. I mean, this is just the village kids getting together, playing tag and turning it into a game. It has taken off in 2014.
Hey, that's the year the song was released.
I know. I was just like, did I just hear that date? In 2014, there was the first official season of this sport. And
Oh, it's recent.
it's very recent. It's the official
Like the actual
actually having a league and
league.
having an
Okay.
organized like set of rules of what comprises a game or
Okay.
a thing. The actual game itself is speculated to have originated in prehistoric times, as a
That's crazy.
kind of
You
training
didn't-
human reflexes for self-defense and hunting. Kind
That's
of like
cool.
so.
You didn't hear my reaction just now because I was drinking, but I was like, ooh. Prehistoric times. That's cool.
So the game is played on a small court, and you have two teams of 7 players, and basically you have the court's divided into sides, and then there's like an out of bounds.
Okay.
The 7 players are there. One player is the raider. Their goal is to cross into the other team's territory and touch as many players as they can and get back without getting tackled and not allowed to cross back into their territory, which is like, oh, easy. Run in, smack, run in, smack. However, this is where the fun part of this comes in. Originally, and in most plays, it's you take a deep breath and then you chant Kabaddi, 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 Kabaddi the entire time that you're going on this raid to touch as many players as you can. If you stop chanting before you get out of the territory and back to your side, you're out. If you get caught and forced to take another breath, you're out. If you get tackled, you're out.
So you have to do it all in one breath.
You have to do this all, and this is not just like casually strolling. This is, I'm going to link several videos of this. It's very hard to actually watch this in the United States. Like there are some new sites that you can watch, but they are typically it is very European. It's very big in India, and this breaking and becoming larger in London. They're actually getting more actual like localized teams and stuff. So yeah, this is the thing. You have to run in and you have to attempt to touch, and you can touch with your hand. You can touch with your foot, and the other team, the other 7 players, will often pair up and they'll hold hands, like 2 players will hold hands. And that serves a couple different purposes. You can actually, like, as you're moving, it keeps your team coordinated, because you can work to surround the player and the raider and kind of trap him on your side and not let him get back to his side. Or you can, like, if he's reaching to touch a player, the other person can literally just pull that person out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Which will throw off the raider's balance.
That's awesome.
And also, like, if the raider just goes for it to tackle a person and kind of push them out of bounds, because you can also get them removed from the game out of bounds, the holding the hand of the person that's still in bounds can pull them back in and save them from going out of bounds. So I'm watching this, and you've got like 6 people, in groups of 3, and they're holding hands. And they're kind of like shifting back and forth, and this guy's like coming in and trying to tag them. I'm fascinated, and I'm gonna like really just find a place to watch this because I think I might be addicted to sports.
If you get tagged or go out of bounds, if you're on the team that the raider is attacking, I guess.
Okay.
It's like an elimination thing, right? So you have to sit out, and then whoever's
sort
left.
of. So you get points for each player that's tagged, and the opposing team earns a point if they stop the raider. So if they get touched or tackled, they're taken out. So if the raider comes in and tags 3 players, those players have to sit out. But they can be revived. A raider comes across the line, touches 3 players, they sit out. And then more raiders come in, and their goal, as long as the raider gets back across the line, that team can keep sending their raider in.
Okay. Do they take turns being raiders, or is there one raider?
I think I kind of was seeing, like, there's usually typically one person who is the raider, but if he goes out, like, someone else can come back in, or they might switch him up if he's getting tired. But so when it switches sides and the other team gets to raid, if they take out 3 players, they get 3 of their players back.
Oh.
So you're switching sides. The games have a time limit. And so you play to the time limit, and at the end of the game, the highest score wins, obviously. And I did read about if it's a tie, like they will literally just be like, like go again. There's no breaks. If you get out, you don't get to revive. So it's just a process of true elimination. Like
Wow.
last man
So it's
standing,
like
that team wins.
Yeah.
If there's a tie.
That's so cool.
It is really cool. And I'm just kind of like,
I really want to play.
I should have taken more notes, but I ended up just watching like several matches. and I'm just like, yes, I'm going to do this. But I love the aspect of this. Like you have to chant. In competition play, it's a 30-second. You have 30 seconds to tag as many and get back to your side without being tackled.
Okay.
And like literally if they tackle you, these guys are like that athleticism and everything. 'Cause there's no pads. They're wearing just shorts and a t-shirt. They might have like just some wraps around their knees and stuff because it is a contact sport, and so they have like some support on that. But there's not really like pads or safety gear. And they're playing on cushioned mats, kind of like what you would use for like a wrestling type thing. Those thicker mats.
Interesting.
But it is still solid, and you're still hitting pretty hard if these, and they'll just like these 6 or 7 guys on the other team will just tackle, but the raider, as long as he's still moving, like he will literally just dig in and drag these guys to get his fingers across the line.
Gosh.
As long as he can get his fingers, if he stops moving, he's out.
He's out.
But if he can still keep moving that pile and get his finger or a toe across the boundary line,
so
he's
not
still,
only if you're a raider, you want to be fast, but you also need to be strong if it comes down to dragging men with
several other strong athletic people. And they do have women and men's teams and leagues and stuff. So there's different styles. There are the kind of like the raiders who just go in and like are just like full contact, taking you out and dragging players back across the line. And then they have kind of more of a speed style. And like these guys they'll lunge for one raider or for one of the defensive team. And that guy will back up, and then the other teammates will try to come in behind to kind of cut the raider off from going back.
Yeah.
And this guy just like will reach out he'll kick with his feet to tag them, which pushes them away because they don't want to be tagged. So it opens up space for him to kind of regroup and back up to get. I mean, it is really fascinating to watch this, and it is a growing sport. It is the national sport of Bangladesh.
Oh, that's cool.
It is the second most watched sport in India after cricket.
Whoa. Which
cricket is like the sport of India. And so this is the second most watched one. It became big. Anand Mahindra is an Indian steel magnate, and he wanted to bring Kabaddi to the world. But he said, quote, "My generation feels anything Indian is not worth bothering about because it is not up to the same standards." So they kind of have like this, like we should be looking at international stuff. Like cricket is a British sport, and you know, like we should be looking at that. And also like Kabaddi at the time was played on dirt lots in schools. It was kind of a dirty, grungy sport. It wasn't. There's no equipment needed. I mean, you know, you don't have to be. Anybody can play basically. This.
You could draw
a line in the dirt.
Yeah.
And you had a few friends, you could play this sport.
Yeah.
So he's like, I need to make this glamorous. So he found this rural team, and he brought them in. He got a stylist, gave them all like new kits, shiny clothing, you know, like bright colors, matching team wear. They had stylish haircuts, and like got these professional photos taken and really like glam this up, like check this out.
Dang.
And he put these brightly colored mats down instead of the dirt court. So now this looked really expensive, but they're really just gym mats.
Yeah.
Like they're not expensive, but he jazzed it up. And it took off. Their first season was in 2014, and by the end of the season they had 435 million viewers.
Holy cow.
Cricket had 560 million. That's it
Just
for your
after,
first
like,
season, and it's done nothing but grow since then.
Yeah, and that was its first season.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
I mean,
that's insane. And I think part of it is like so many people knew the sport. Like, oh yeah, I played that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a professional sport
I still play that with
now?
my friends. We get to, you know, it's like you just get together, and now you have these it's a sport that, and like you don't have to have like a ton of training, I mean, you do have to have like skills and abilities,
Yeah.
but you don't have to have, be the best quarterback, or
Yeah.
you have to be able to hit a 3-point shot consistently. You don't have to have that very specific niche.
Niche.
Oh, I hate that word. Niche skill. You just have to be quick, and you have to be kind of tactical, like
Yeah.
knowing which way that team's going to try to cut you off, and,
Uh-huh.
and that sort of thing. And that you just learn through practice with your teammates, and kind of working together with your teammates to kind of know what each other is thinking. And that's another thing with the holding of the hands.
Yeah.
You can feel that movement of the other person's shift their weight in a direction or something. I think it's really cool.
It's really cool.
I mean, I'm like, let's go watch some
yeah.
comedy. I'm into
That's
this.
what we're
now.
gonna do. That's what we're gonna be doing for the rest of the
Yeah,
day.
I'm gonna just go find all the YouTube videos. I will link the one video. It's about a 14-minute video. This guy, he learns a little. He talks about the ancient game of it,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna go into that right now.
Yeah.
I got some of my information from Wikipedia and some from Britannica.com, their sports section,
Mhm.
but those were kind of small articles. The Wikipedia article was a little longer. So the two major disciplines, Kabaddi, as we know it, I'm going to say, in kind of a rectangular field, and then there's Punjabi Kabaddi, which is circle style. So it's played on a circular field outdoors. The standard style is more of an indoor on a rectangular court.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a huge court. I didn't write down the measurements, but
I was picturing, when you were first describing it, I just automatically pictured a tennis court for some reason.
it's smaller than a tennis court.
Smaller than tennis. Okay.
Let
'Cause
me pull my...
I think tennis courts are smaller than basketball courts.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking tennis, but now I'm thinking more of like a wrestling ring sort of.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of the same look as a tennis court. So you have this rectangle that's cut in half,
Uh-huh.
and then there's kind of a border around
The
that
out of
is
bounds
like,
border.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
is your out of bounds. Okay, here's your measurements. It's a 10 by 13 meter court, so 33 by 43
okay.
feet. And that's for the men. The women's is a slightly smaller court, 8 by 12 meters, or 26 feet by 39 feet. So you have two teams of 7 members, and you have 5 substitute players.
Okay.
If
So
you
5
need
on
them.
the bench.
Yeah, 5 on the bench warmers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's played with 20-minute halves with a 5-minute break in which the teams exchange sides.
Oh, okay.
During each play, which is called a raid, one player, the raider, runs to the other side and attempts to tag as many as they can in 30 seconds. Some still chant the Kabaddi chant, so
Uh-huh.
you'll still hear, like, you hear the crowd cheering, but
Kabaddi,
you also
Kabaddi.
hear Kabaddi, 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 Kabaddi. Yeah, and it's just like, and you could see them kind of chanting as they're kind of doing that. That's not a required.
I imagine this is.
Oh, I lied.
Oh.
It says, while raiding, the raider must loudly chant Kabaddi,
Oh, loudly
confirming to the referees that their raid is done on a single breath without inhaling.
chant. Okay.
I did read somewhere that sometimes they do just have the 30 seconds, but I want
Okay.
them to just always be chanting, because that
I
just,
wonder
to me,
if that. Yeah, I wonder if that just depends on the league.
it might, yeah, the league or the
And-
ruling
yeah.
where they're at, because there are, like, I don't do sports casual leagues, like,
Yeah.
if we have a Kabaddi league here, just get some
Yeah.
people together, and there are, like, your more registered leagues and your professional leagues.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I had a question, but I was distracted by a cat.
I know, she just jumped in my lap again.
Well,
They
thank
also
you.
have beach Kabaddi.
That would
where
be
you-
fun.
That would be
Oh, I remember what it was.
that would be hard, because beach sand is hard. They don't wear shoes for that one.
Yeah. It wasn't a question, but it was about the chanting. This is my neurodivergent brain wondering if the chanting actually helps them stay focused and keeps them like just just focused, I guess, on
I
keeps
mean,
them
like,
on
I feel like
target.
for me it would, like,
Yeah.
because it's kind of a way to stabilize your breath, where
Yeah.
you're not just like
Yeah,
like
you're
just
not just
panting
like-
because you're like trying to tag. You're like keeping that focus on maintaining the breath that you have.
Yeah.
I
I know that in yoga, you get maximum benefit when you go through the yoga flows if you time it with your breath.
right.
That's actually from India as well.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, so I think like I said, when we were talking about your part, like, we pull these notes together, and I'm like, there's really not a lot. Like, most of my information is just visually watching this sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine that the chanting does kind of help focus the breath and maintain it and allow you to raid longer.
Yeah.
Just like practicing that, holding that breath. And because it's not just a matter of just holding your breath, you are maintaining this breath. You're doing a physical activity, a very, very physical activity.
Yeah.
You're running in and trying. If you've ever played tag as a kid, you're breathing a lot. You're breathing heavily because you're running and you're trying to tag someone who very much doesn't want to be tagged.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to get away without being tackled. To do it all this in one breath, and there are people who take out the entire whole team in one breath. If they're like, it's called a super raid.
Oh, that's crazy.
So they just take out, I think it's like
I was
4 or more players,
yeah.
but it's not very common.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does happen. It's pretty cool.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just like, I'm gonna just dive in and find places to watch this.
I'm not
online.
an athletic person, but I do want to play it.
I know I'm
Just
not athletic
for
at all,
fun.
but I'm like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow out my knee or something. It's fine.
When we have a retreat or a Veniverse retreat, we'll just do like
there we
teams
go.
of like 4 or 6.
You already here. If you're gonna do our retreat, we're gonna do Kabaddi. So bring your good tennis shoes and some chalk. I don't know. It'll be fun. We'll have fun. Okay. A little bit more about the history of the game. Most of it is just a regular kind of kid playground game, but like you do play it like at gatherings and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Speculated that the game originated in prehistoric times and was used to develop your reflexes for self-defense and hunting.
Mm-hmm.
There is an ancient Indian epic poem, the Mahabharata. I think I said that right.
Mahabharata.
It's the longest poem. It has over 1.8 million words.
Whoa.
And it accounts there's an account in that poem of the legendary battles of Kurukshetra, and it tells of a raid by Arjuna's son Abhimanyu. And this camp is kind of put together in a 7-layer formation called Chakravya, which is a spinning puzzle.
Okay.
So the camp is set up kind of like a maze with 7 layers. A raid on this type of camp is doomed because it's set up and it's like going through a maze to get through, and you're being attacked the entire time.
Yeah.
It was told that Abhimanyu received in a vision how to get into this camp. He would know where the enemies were so he could strike them before they struck him. However, he wasn't told the way back out.
Oh.
So he was able to really do some major damage on this camp, but he was also lost because he could not find his way back out of this spinning puzzle. And there was, in the video that I'll share, they have kind of a visual of the way this camp was laid out, and it almost looks like a thumbprint.
Oh,
kind of these different
just
routes going
layers
into the center, and then but shifting because the enemies are still in the camp, and they would move around as you went past them. So it was really kind of fascinating, but that's why they have the 7 players on a team, kind of symbolizing the 7 layers of this ancient camp and this doomed raid.
So cool.
So it is really cool, kind of like how it's built off of that ancient poem.
Wow.
So that's kind of what the origins of the game as it was before it became professionalized. So yeah, I mean that's Kabaddi.
That would also, like,
I want to do it.
The raider is allowed to get in, but you have to block the way out.
You have to block the way out.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it is really cool. And I was watching a few clips of some of the games, and it is just fascinating. And this one, the YouTube video I watched with the most information he went to the training grounds a team's training center in London, and he played, and they like kind of taught him the basics and stuff. And he's like, it's so easy to learn. Like you just have to go tag everybody. But and they showed some clips of him kind of like, he's like moving, and the other player, these are professional players, and they're really like, you can see them kind of drop into the zone where they're like watching every little move that he makes. And he's like trying to kind of like fake him out, like I'm going to go this way, and then he'll shift, and they're like right on him, And he actually did get one guy out. He tagged a guy
good.
out, and then they tackled him, but he got back across the line.
That's cool.
And they were like, yeah, you're pretty good. You have fun. And he said it is like he went to several matches and he trained with a couple. He went to visit a couple other leagues in London, and he said it's competitive, but everybody's just also like kind of just having fun. He's like, it's one of the different kind of sports he's kind of looked into. It's kind of the camaraderie and the sportsmanship is just like, he's like, I've done a few other sports. This one was the most fun. Even like talking with the players afterwards and talking with the different teams, like they're joking and they're laughing at each other, even though they just like had this fierce game and they're like, yeah, we won, rah. But they're like, yeah, let's go have a beer afterwards or whatever and go do whatever, hang out together and stuff. So he's like, there's just a real nice level of friendship and camaraderie in the sport.
That's so cool.
At least at the level that he was visiting these teams. So
I love that.
I just want to go watch. We're gonna watch some of this.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, but that's Kabaddi.
We should actually follow this sport.
I'm gonna.
Do we need to get the ESPN package?
It's hard to watch. I don't know. I think you have to kind of like get some outside channels or streaming channels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into this. I didn't deep dive into it. There is the Kabaddi World Cup. As of 2016, India won every World Cup of that one. But there's a different organization that was founded in 2018. There will be a 2025 Kabaddi World Cup event, and I'm going to go to this link.
Yeah.
March 17th through the 23rd.
Oh, that's coming up.
It's going to be in West Midlands, England, and I'm going to find out where we can watch it.
Yeah.
Because I'm in. I'm going to...
So, this is the World Cup. How many countries will be involved in it?
I don't
Or
know.
how many teams, I guess?
I don't know. So there's a Junior Kabaddi World Cup that was held in Iran in 2019. There are Asian Games. Kabaddi's been played at the Asian Games. There is an Asian Championship Games. There is a South Asian Championship game. There's a European Championship, and there's Kabaddi Masters. That was held for the first time in Dubai in 2018. And that featured 6 teams. India won. With a score of 44-26, which is crazy.
Yeah.
There is the Pro Kabaddi League that was established in 2014. And that was the one that we talked about. Their first season was 435 million viewers.
Yeah.
There are 12 teams, in the Pro Kabaddi League. You want to hear their names?
Yes.
Okay. The Bengal Warriors, the Bengaluru Bulls, the Patna Pirates, Tamil Thalivas, the UP Yodas, Gujarat Giants. I wonder if that's Gujarat Giants. The Haryana Steelers, Puneri Paltan, U Mumba, Jaipur Pink Panthers, the Dabang Delhi KC, and the Telugu Titans are the 12 teams that play in the Pro Kabaddi League.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they have I'm going to pick one and I'm going to become their biggest fan.
Yeah.
Their biggest fan in Arizona. I don't know. So yeah, there's several different leagues depending on where you are and what level you're at. So I want to just get into this and really learn all about it.
Yeah. Same.
It does have, I did want to mention, it does have several different names based on where you learned to play it as a kid. It's also called Chidagudu, Sadaguru, Kaudi, Pakada, Hadudu, Pavatik, Sadukuda, Hututu, or Himoshika.
Oh, dang.
And I'm just sorry because I'm sure that I butchered all those pronunciations. But it does have, it's basically kind of the region you grew up in. You might say something different.
Yeah.
I did read that the Hututu, sometimes you would chant that during the raid.
Okay.
But it is internationally known as Kabaddi.
That's awesome.
That's all I have. I think I'm gonna be getting into this. I feel like everybody we know is diving into hockey, and I'm like, but have you heard of Kabaddi?
Have you heard? Yeah.
Hockey's cool and all, but have you heard of Kabaddi?
I mean, come March, keep an eye out on our socials. We're going to be
we're going to
for our team.
We're going to find a team, and that's going to be our our game that we're
Hey.
going to cheer during the championships.
Did you catch that Kabaddi game last
Did
night?
you catch that game? It was great. Did you see how we drug all 7
Yeah.
players across the line? It was amazing.
A super raid? Can
Super
you
raid?
believe it?
You got a super raid. Can you believe it? I'm all in.
Yes.
I'm all in.
We're going to have team shirts.
Yes.
We're going to have all the merch. We're going to have the foam fingers or whatever.
If they have Kabaddi foam fingers, I'm getting one.
Yes. Or like the little flags.
Yeah, it's probably maybe it's just a flag thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
I don't
go
know.
shopping.
Whatever the typical Kabaddi merch is, we're going to get it.
I'm gonna look up Kabaddi super fan, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna look like.
You know what we should do? I should pick a team and you should pick a team.
Oh,
we can have a
okay.
little in-house rivalry.
Okay. All right, you're on.
I call the Pirates.
Well, fair.
Obviously.
I mean, obviously. Let me go look at those names again.
There were Bengals. That's
There
cool.
were the Bengal Warriors. Maybe I'm gonna go for the Jaipur Pink Panthers. No, I really hate the color pink though.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could do the Haryana Steelers because back when I followed football, I was a Steelers fan.
Of course.
Big time. It was because...
I say that, of course, with the eye roll.
Of course. Here's why. In the 3rd grade, there was a Steelers football player that came to our school, and he signed my notebook, and he was super nice, and I was like, I'm
Cool.
a Steelers fan. I have no idea who it was. I don't know why he was at our school. I have no clue. There's no context in my brain except this 6 foot tall football player was in my school. He probably did a presentation. There was probably something else, but he signed my notebook, and that was the coolest moment of my little 3rd grade life.
That's cool.
And so I was a Steelers fan.
All right.
I'm also a Packers fan.
I'll give you
but
that. I never
yeah.
got into pro football. I was all about high school football.
I used to watch it. My high school team, my senior year, they won state championship.
Oh, cool.
That was pretty cool. But
did
but that's
mine?
kind of
I
when I
remember.
started actually watching, like, and the NFL and
Yeah.
kind of really paying attention and stuff. And Packers and Steelers were my 2 teams that I liked.
Yeah.
And that's
I was
about
more
it.
into baseball. I might get a lot of hate for that because a lot of people hate baseball, which blows my mind. But yeah,
I don't mind watching baseball highlights, but
I like watching.
I feel like if I went to a baseball game,
Oh, yeah.
that would be way more fun because on TV, I'm like, oh, just stop.
Going to a game is fun.
It's hours and
I'll say
hours.
that.
And I just like, I'm not having any fun. But I feel like at the game,
I also like playing baseball.
I used to be a pretty good pitcher.
That's cool.
Yeah, we would do little pickup games, and I couldn't hit the ball for anything, but I could throw it. So
I could hit.
I can't catch either. So okay, so I could pitch and you could hit, and we
Yeah.
could make a team.
Yeah. Okay.
No, terrible. Oh man,
Oh, no. We
It's
need to watch
obviously-
Sandlot.
I've never actually seen that movie.
I know. That memory of you saying that just popped into my head, and I'm like, this is probably why I like baseball because
you watched
I
that
love that movie.
show. Yeah. I mean, we used to always play baseball as kids.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
we would have
an easy
like
playground sport.
get together with a bunch of friends and stuff, and there'd be like a little pickup game,
Yeah.
and sometimes like we'd just be like, hey, everybody's going down to the park, bring your gloves and bats, and we'll
Yeah.
play some baseball or something. So
Anyway,
Kabaddi
weird
is my
baseball
new
Kabaddi.
sport.
We're totally going all in
All in.
in Kabaddi this year. And
or at least for the week of the championships in March. That's it. I think this is the point where we draw our cards for the next
for
the next episode,
topic.
the next topic, because I need to get going on some research.
Yeah.
Our next episode will be in February because this is going
This
on the
is the
30th.
last episode of January.
Awesome. We hopefully survived the month,
Yeah.
the first month of 2025.
Oh my
At time of hearing, this is it's in the books.
Oh, we forgot that this is episode 11.
Double digits.
Double digits, because we never said anything about it in the movie
episode 10
that
because we
became
didn't
episode
realize
10.
when it was going to be. Yeah, so we are double digits.
Yay! Have a little celebration for us.
Have a little celebration.
It'll be interesting to see how the movie review episode did.
Yeah, I'm interested on those
Yeah.
because it's. We had fun. We had fun with.
We have a lot of fun.
with the watching the movie. We had fun, kind of giving you the synopsis of it.
And whether or not you liked the
And
last one, you're going to get another
you're
one
gonna get
soon.
another one.
'Cause We're going.
We're gonna keep doing
We
it
have another
until
little
you
vacation.
beg us to stop. So yeah, by the time you hear this, you will have heard the movie episode. So
Yep.
if
I
you
hope you
want to,
enjoyed it. Before we get into the whole goodbye spiel,
yeah,
let's draw our cards.
let's draw our cards. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh, it is my turn, isn't it?
I
Okay.
think so.
I never remember. Okay. I'm gonna shuffle them a little bit. I don't trust your shuffle job.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. This is gonna be okay.
Okay.
Bit different from what we've had so far.
Oh,
and I'm
interesting.
excited about it.
Okay. All right.
It's not a woman.
Not a woman. Okay. You keep getting these amazing women. And it's okay. I told you if I draw one, I'm going to hand it back to you. That holds for now and all future episodes. I feel like you have a thing going here. Take this one. Oh, I can't pick it up.
No, the one under it.
No, take this
No,
one.
the middle one. Okay.
Okay.
Did you get a woman?
I did not.
Okay. Did you get a fun one that I'm gonna be mad that you drew?
All of our subjects are equally amazing, and we don't show favorites.
They are. Okay. Oh man, this is gonna kill me.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Next week is gonna be fun.
I am. I'm excited. I'm
Okay.
excited. It's gonna be fun.
So yeah, before we do our goodbye, follow us you can find us on all social media. Just look for Jess and Hids. Jess and Hids make words. Just some variation of Jess and Hids. If you would like to support us in a bigger way, we encourage you to join our Patreon. You can join for as little as $3 a month, or if you want to be very kind and donate more money, our highest tier is $20 a month, and that is the Blade Dancer tier. You get the most perks on that tier. But you do get a lot of fun stuff for the other two tiers as well. The Wolfborn is our $10 a month tier, and our Chaotic tier is the $3 a month tier. But you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/jessandhids, JESSANDHIDS. You can also find all of the links to all of the things, including our show notes and updates and upcoming events that we have in our Facebook group or on our Patreon page on our website, jessandhids.com. Give us some good reviews if you like our podcast. If you don't like our podcast, maybe don't leave a review. Or if you do leave a review, just lie and say you love us.
Be nice. We need validation.
Follow us on social media, and you can even, if you would like to sort of keep tabs on us on Patreon but don't really have the money to join any of the tiers, you can be a free follower as well.
We do have some posts that are public posts. We talk a little bit about, I don't know that we've ever mentioned this. We pick kind of a nonprofit each quarter.
Okay.
And we donate a percentage of our Patreon donations to that nonprofit.
10% of all of our Patreon money that we get goes to a different nonprofit for each quarter.
And our nonprofit that we've chosen for this quarter is the Pennsylvania Bat Rescue and Rehabilitation. You could find them at pabatrescue.org. They are doing good things to help bats who have been found injured, or they just took in one that was caught by a cat, and but he's going to be okay.
Aww.
They're cute. I know, like, a lot of people don't like bats. I think they are adorable.
Bats are
and
super
they
cute.
are very important for the environment and the ecology. They eat a lot of bad bugs. Sky puppies. I want to get one of their hoodies that says "Save the Sky Puppies."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that we talk about in our public posts. We do talk about, we have a story, kind of the story so far. You can kind of follow along with our D&D campaign.
Yeah.
We do some other kind of public posts, just general announcements and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to just check us out and see what we're about, you can follow as a free member. Just create a Patreon account and find us.
Yeah.
We started a little thing about farewells.
Oh
And
yeah, what have you got
I talked a
today?
little bit about goodbye, and I completely forgot to do this, so I just really quick did a quick Google search on ways to say goodbye in India, since we were kind of
Oh,
focused there with
Kabaddi.
Kabaddi. And it's actually, I think everyone kind of probably knows Namaste.
Yeah.
It's a very informal way to say goodbye. It also works as a greeting. They compared it to aloha in Hawaiian,
Yeah.
where it can have several multiple meanings based on context and
Yeah.
usage. Namaste.
Namaste. I love that.
Yeah, I like it.
And since mine was covering the Russian night witches, I'll say from Russia with love.